I would like to welcome all of you to William Pitcher Junior High's 40th year celebration. Our celebration will include a proclamation by Mayor Mike Cooper, a biography of Mr. William Pitcher, for whom the school is named, and special student performances highlighting Pitcher through the decades. Thank you again for joining us this morning. We hope you enjoyed the program.
Thank you, Michaela, and good morning and welcome. Thank you all for coming out today to celebrate with us. I just want to take a few minutes to introduce our honored guests. It's a privilege that I have to introduce them and that they are here to join us today to celebrate Pitcher's 40th year. So I will start with our school board representation. We have Superintendent Trey Foltz. We have Associate Superintendent Mr. Pete Jabbia. Assistant Superintendent Dr. Regina Sanford, and Assistant Superintendent Mr. Mike Kosay. Also joining us, we have two supervisors from Central Office who are also former Pitcher administrators, Ms. Rosalind Hanson and Dr. Raphael Tillman. Our board members that are joining us today are Mr. Jack Loop and his wife Sheila, Ms. Sharon Lowe Drucker, and Mr. Mike Durman. Ms. Beth Heinz, who is the rep for Pitcher, had to travel out of town unexpectedly, but she did want me to extend her congratulations to everyone. From this great city of Covington, we have with us today Mayor Mike Cooper, Chief of Police Tim Lentz, and Councilman Larry Rowling. Did I miss anyone that snuck in at the last minute? Okay, and then at this time, I would like to ask any former Pitcher students or staff, alumni, faculty, staff that have been at Pitcher in the past to stand and be recognized at this time. Again, thank you all for coming, and I'm going to turn the program back over to Michaela and our students. Thank you.
I would like to welcome Covington Mayor Mike Cooper for a special proclamation.
Good morning, everybody. Boy, it's a pleasure to be here at William Pitcher after 40 years. Actually, this morning, the reason I'm just walking in, U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy is in town, and I just left a meeting with him, with other public officials. But I'm so glad to be here this morning to issue this mayoral proclamation. Whereas in the fall of 1925, Covington, Louisiana was booming and in need of a new high school. And whereas on the spot where we are standing today, Covington High School, originally known as Elmer E. Lyon High School, was built. And whereas after a Sunday afternoon blaze in the fall of 1974, the school buildings were destroyed, with the commitment to rebuild rising from the ashes of Covington High School, became what is known as William Pitcher Junior High School. In 1978, the first school year began at William Pitcher Junior High School, whose namesake was former superintendent of St. Tammany Parish Schools, who had served here for 30 years. Mr. Pitcher's primary goal was to provide academic and athletic scholarships, fellowships, and jobs for students in need to allow them to attend Louisiana colleges. And whereas over the course of 40 years, thousands of children have passed through the halls of William Pitcher Junior High School to become productive adults, the legacy started by Mr. Pitcher has continued with 7 diligent principals, dozens of dedicated teachers, hardworking staff, and involved parents, making all of Covington Pitcher proud. Now therefore I, Michael Cooper, Mayor of the great city of Covington, do hereby proclaim today, Tuesday, March 27th, 2018, as William Pitcher Junior High School Day here in the city of Covington and urge all citizens to rejoice in the 40 years of education and success of all of William Pitcher Junior High students, faculty, and staff. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Cooper. Our chorus, directed by Ms. Pennington, will sing Dear Old Pitcher Junior High. This song, our school's alma mater, was written by Miss Sandra Guillory and music composed by Miss Jackie Pennington. Brendan Chapman and Caleb Rhodes will read a biography of Mr. William Pitcher and the history of William Pitcher Junior High.
Who was this man named William Pitcher? Well, you know our school was named for him. But did you also know that the dental school campus at LSU was named William Pitcher Plaza? Mr. Pitcher was a star on the LSU Fighting Tigers football team from 1921 to 1924. He was admitted to the LSU Hall of Fame for his record 94-yard punt against Auburn in 1924. Did you know the ball traveled 73 yards in the air? He loved football so much that he participated as a member of the chain gang at every LSU football game for 30 years. Upon graduation, he taught and coached at Riverside Military Academy in Gainesville, Georgia. He was on the LSU Board of Supervisors starting in 1960 and was named chairman in 1966. But why is our school name work for him? Well, Mr. Pitcher was named superintendent of the state Tammany Parish school system on July 1st, 1937, and served until September 1967. He served longer than any other superintendent, 30 years. During his time as superintendent, 29 schools were built. His avocation was to provide numerous athletic and academic scholarships, fellowships, and jobs for worthy and needy students in state Tammany Parish. He wanted to provide the opportunities to allow them to attend all Louisiana colleges. This is why our school is named for William Pitcher.
In the early 1920s, the land where our school stands was simply a wooded area on the outskirts of Covington. At nearly 3,000 people, the population of the town was booming. A new high school had to be built to accommodate the influx of students. A bond issued in 1924 led the school board to purchase the property on Jefferson Avenue between 17th and 18th Avenues. In the fall of 1925, Covington High School opened its doors. The same oak trees that stand proudly in front of our school today stood proudly in front of the brand new Covington High School. By 1928, the school had gone through multiple transitions. Time passed and renovations were made between 1957 and 1966. Classrooms were added, as well as the library, cafeteria, and gym. In 1969, further changes were made. Students from Pineview High School and Covington High School merged together, and by 1970, the schools were fully integrated. Everything was going great for Covington High until the fall of 1974. On the morning of October 11th, the original part of the school went up in flames. The October 14th article from the St. Tammany Farmer stated that the blaze was reported at 1:50 p.m. on Saturday, and 27 men from the Covington Fire Department were joined by volunteers from Mandeville, Avita Springs, and Madisonville in an 8-hour effort to contain the fire. The building was 50 years old and had schooled several generations of Covington youth. Many residents who learned of the fire were saddened when they recalled their days of high school there. The school was rebuilt and reopened in 1978 as William Pitcher Junior High. The new school took in students from Covington Junior and Pineview Junior High and taught grades 7th to 9th. The first principal, Mr. Terry Bankston, was in charge of over 700 students. 17 years later, in 1995, the first building was partially renovated for the first time. The next year, the 9th grade was removed to Covington High School. From 2009 and 2011, the school underwent a second major renovation, adding an elevator, broadcaster room, science lab, and a new cafeteria and gym. 40 years and 7 principals later, William Pitcher Junior High is still Pitcher proud to be part of the Covington community.
Now we have a special presentation for you, Pitcher Through the Decades, which includes special student performances highlighting music and dance styles from the 70s to today, and interviews with Pitcher alumni.
Morning. In 1977, I attended my 7th grade year at Pineview Junior High under the leadership of Mr. Franklin Owens. During the time, the junior high girls and junior high boys attended separate schools. The boys attended Covington Junior High, currently Harrison curriculum. However, in 1978, the two schools merged together. Prior to us as a student body transitioning to William Pitcher Junior High, we had the opportunity to choose our school's mascot and our school's color. I am very proud to say we chose maroon and gold for our school color and Panthers for our school's mascot. I attended Pitcher Junior High from 1978 to 1980, which was my 8th and 9th grade years. My principal was Mr. Terry Bankston, and the assistant principal was Mrs. Carrie Owens. One of my fondest memories was taking a class picture in the football stadium my 9th grade year. This picture was considered part of our graduation ceremony. In conclusion, during my spare time as a junior high student at Pitcher Junior High, I enjoy watching a sitcom called Good Times and listening to my favorite song, 3 Times a Lady by the Commodores.
Understand, I attended William Pitcher from 1979 to 1982. We had 3 grades here then, 7th, 8th, and 9th. I really enjoyed going to the dances, which were held at night. That's one thing that's different now. They're held during the school day or after school. Some popular songs during the time I was at Pitcher Junior High were My Sharona, and I really loved slow dancing at the dances to Casey and the Sunshine Band's Please Don't Go. My favorite memory at Pitcher was in 9th grade. Mr. Welch took a group of 9th graders that were in civics class on an Amtrak train from Hammond all the way to New York City. And we had a great time while we were there. We visited a lot of museums and Broadway plays, saw the Rockettes, but my favorite part of that trip was the train ride. It was very memorable.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Barbara Bickham Driver. I attended Pitcher Junior High in 1985, 1986, and also 1984. Back there was 3 grades then. Mr. Moran was the principal, Miss Carol On was the assistant principal, and Miss Alfreda Mouton was the counselor. I love several teachers that have taught me there. Miss Beth Stocker was my reading teacher, Miss Anna Garrett was my history teacher, and Miss Beth Giles was my science teacher, and Miss Peggy Lehman was my math teacher, and of course Ben White was my PE teacher. I was very afraid of him. He was very disciplined and had that poker face look. I didn't know what a poker face look was back then, but he was very strict and very disciplined and kept me on my toes. And then one day I seen that beautiful smile that came out of him, and I knew that he wasn't that mean a person. I also played basketball and volleyball under Coach Usher and Coach Kuzan. Here's a picture of me in 1985 playing basketball and volleyball. I also graduated May 28, 1986, and here's a picture of me graduating right here. I also met the love of my life here at Pitcher Junior High. We've been together 32 years, married 23 years, and 4 children, Jarrell, Jessica, Jayla, and Jeremiah. In 2010, I started working here at Pitcher Junior High, and Miss Hanson was the principal at the time. I also worked in the RNC room. I didn't know much when I was walking to the RNC. I worked there for a couple years under Miss Hanson, and then a parent had to leave. And so I went to Abita Middle School and worked in the RNC. And then I found my way back home to come to elementary, working in the May class. And then finally in 2014, under Dr. Raphael Tillman, he brought me back home to my Pitcher family, who I love dear as my principal. And then in 2016, Miss Amy Burns became principal, who I also love dear as my principal. And I started in the maiden room here under a great teacher, Ryan Russian. I am Pitcher proud, and I love my Pitcher family, and I will always be Pitcher proud. Go Panthers!
Good morning. My name is Beth Smith, and I am an 8th grade Louisiana history teacher at William Pitcher Junior High. Like the previous ladies, I also am a Pitcher Junior High alumni. I was a student at William Pitcher from 1992 to 1995. At the time, Mr. Donald Moran and Miss Nancy Woods were principal, and also the 9th grade was still here at William Pitcher. In fact, my 9th grade year was the last year the 9th grade was mandatory here at Pitcher. My first year at Covington High, it was optional. You could have 9th grade here or 9th grade at Covington High. One of my favorite memories of William Pitcher are going on some trips. We went to Six Flags in Texas my 9th grade year, which is kind of like the kids going to Disney today, but it was a big deal for us. It was the first time we got to take charter buses out of state. I also remember a lot of really amazing teachers. One in particular stands out, Miss Sammy Whittington. In fact, I would think my passion for teaching today is due in large part to her passion for teaching. I also remember how the oak trees out front all had specific names, and everybody hung out in different areas according to their group of people. So things have changed a lot, but Pitcher Junior High has been a great school, and I'm super honored to teach here today.
All about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. When a couple of guys that were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight, and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." Break it down. Back, alright, that's right, on top of the tricky, it's just like, here we go, hit it, straight to rock around the sun, make it die.
Hi, my name's Katie, and I am also a Pitcher alumni. I attended William Pitcher from the August of '06 to the May of '08. When I was here, Mr. Gaines was the principal, and what I remember most, I was a band nerd, so most of my memories come from band, doing things with the band, going on band trip, and I always remember Pitcher because it was such a small school. Everyone knew your name. Everyone knew everyone. All the teachers knew you, even the teachers you didn't have, and no one was afraid to help anyone who needed it. And from my brother coming here and just seeing that, it hasn't really changed much. It's still that small school where everyone knows who you are and you always feel at home.
that soldier boy, that Superman, that hoe, that why me you? Like that soldier, 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 why me you? Now it's time to get funky. To the right now. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. The right, the right, the right, the right, the right, the left, the left, the left, the left, the left. Now kick, now trouble, baby, kick. Now walk it by yourself, walk it by yourself. To the right, to the right, to the right, the right, the right, the left, to the left, to the left, the left, the left. Now kick, now kick, now kick, now kick. Now walk it by yourself, walk it.
I'm Claire Burns, class president of Covington High School. I attended William Pitcher from the years 2012 to 2014. Some of my favorite memories at Pitcher was just the closeness that we had to one another. We all knew each other, knew the faces, knew the names. And not only that, but the campus itself was a lot of fun. We once did a video called Secret Places of Willie P. And that had to have been one of my favorite moments because we went in all these secret places that nobody else knew about. And we discovered things about Pitcher that nobody else knew about. Some of my other favorite memories were definitely maybe the football games and the different athletic events that we did, track meets, soccer games, football games. Everybody really showed their Pitcher pride when it came down to it, and we were also one of the only junior highs with our own stadium, so that was a really cool factor that went into it. I think a really cool factor that went into my Pitcher experience was that my sister created the Proud Rap that you may know of. And we basically passed it down, so whenever I got to Pitcher, Mr. Heidelberg was like, Claire, you're going to do the Proud Rap. So I had to learn it. Then whenever my little sister got here after I left, she started doing it. So it's a really cool tradition that's kind of evolved into a really awesome, fun, upbeat song.
Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. My level's too high to bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down because I'm happy. If you feel like a room without a roof, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Please watch yourself, cause I'm feeling myself. Throw a flag on the plate, man, somebody get the rep. Man, somebody get some help. Pull out on the block. Hit the chord, hit the chord.
Next, we have the chorus singing a special tribute to the teachers, a song titled, Will You Teach Me? The band will follow the chorus playing Dartland's March by Randall Scander.
This song is presented to the teachers of William Pitcher Junior High, those present and retired. Thank you.
Teach me how to soar.
Hi, my name is Grace Burns, and I'm the Student Council President. Along with the Student Council officers of 2018, we thank you for being with us to celebrate Pitcher's 40th year anniversary. We also would like to thank the former faculty, staff, and students for paving the way for us to be here 40 years later. In honor of our 40th year, the class of 2018 has put together a time capsule to commemorate the celebration. We look forward to our future, and we are excited to come back for our 50th year celebration to reflect on the 10 years we were away from Pitcher. Now, the officers will seal the time capsule, which will remain sealed until 2028.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, girls. The time capsule has a little bit of nostalgia from the class of 2018, as well as a t-shirt that we actually are selling. Our PTA is selling right over here, our 40-year t-shirt. So if you'd like to get one, please do so on the way out. And that will go in the trophy case by the front office, and hopefully when we make 50, not sure that I'll be here, we will open that and revisit the contents of the time capsule. I want to thank everyone for coming out, and at this time I want to say that I get to be the face today of the 40th anniversary, but I am certainly not able to take credit for any of this. I have extremely great people in place. My staff has done a fabulous job, and everyone on staff contributed in some form or fashion, whether it was our custodians, getting our buildings ready, our cooks, which were teachers and paras, our decorations. For those of you that didn't make it to the library, it doesn't really look like the library because it was turned into a very beautiful, formal dining room for our breakfast this morning. So those of you that would like to stop by and see that, please do so. So at this time, I'd like to thank my faculty and staff for their help in preparing our 40th anniversary. So give them a round of applause. And then, of course, let's give a round of applause to our student program participants. Mr. Foltz, I don't know if you remember in one of the many interviews, and it was the one with Mr. Jabby and Dr. Sanford, the one that those of us who were going through that process called it the round robin dating trip, if you remember that. I think you asked me a question in that interview that said, why Pitcher? I don't think I need to explain anymore. I am always proud. I want to thank Dr. Tillman and Ms. Hanson who've led the way. Again, I'm not the one that should be getting credit because there are so many others that came before me to make Pitcher what it is today for the 40 years that it's been here. One of the things that I think has started to stick with me, according to my teachers, as far as my little motto, is that we may be small, but we are very mighty, and we are always picture proud.